Greetings and salutations, fellow scholars. I'm Luminous Suncrist, or just Lumi, and I would like to open a discussion. If you had a choice between Achilles and Odysseus, who would you crown the most heroic within the Greek pantheon or Greek mythology using classical heroism? In this video, I would like to discuss the similarities and differences and whether or not they would be considered heroes within the 21st century. So press that like button down below as your signal that a discussion is in progress. Let's converse Greek mythology in context. Huge disclaimer, I am not a Greek mythology expert, I am only a minor student. Last year, I was enrolled in a module called Greek Mythology in Context. Unfortunately, I failed the module due to me not submitting my assignment 4. My assignment 4 was this very essay that I'm presenting to you now. So, for rest within my very restless heart, and hopefully other people can appreciate or critique it, I would like to share it with you. So please leave your comments down below on what you think of this essay. And if you were to add on to this conversation, what would you like to say? I love hearing people speak and discuss Greek mythology. So let's do this together. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's go. Looking down. Additionally, please do not mind me looking down. This is where my notes are. As you can see, I wrote out my little assignment. It's still written there, assignment 4. So please don't mind that. I do not have everything by memory. I did have a teleprompter, but I'm not willing to type all of this. Anyway, let's begin. Housekeeping aside, let's begin. First of all, Achilles and Odysseus are perhaps the most celebrated heroes within the Trojan War. But why? There were many other people who fought in the Trojan War. Why are these two men considered the archetype of classical heroism? I'd like to delve into that. But let's begin with the similarities between the two heroes. The most glaringly obvious one that I can put at the top is the fact that they were both in the Trojan War for different reasons, of course. Achilles for honor, and Odysseus because he was part of the oath that he had with Menelaus of Sparta, that they were both fighting for the same cause. Both of our heroes are said to have been skilled in combat and great warriors. Most importantly, they played very pivotal roles in the Trojan War. Odysseus for building the wooden horse that helped them with the war, win the war, and Achilles for his combat capabilities or his strength. But then when you get to the differences, there are many. In my opinion, perhaps you can find more similarities and differences, but in my view, my perspective, I found more differences. Achilles was the son of Peleus, I believe, a mortal, and the sea nymph Thetis. Thetis. Please correct my pronunciations, I don't feel offended. Odysseus is the son of Laertes, a mortal, and Antidea. Again, please pronounce my pronunciation. I will not feel offended. I love being educated. A descendant of Hermes. Maybe that is a similarity when you put it into perspective like that. One, Achilles, being almost immortal from accounts stating he was dumped into the river Styx by his mother when he was an infant, and the other being a normal guy, a mortal. Those are actually very different things when you think about it. Another difference that you'd find between the two heroes is their temperament or their temper. Achilles was known for being very hot tempered and quick to anger. His most well known example of him being angered was the death of Patroclus a very, very dear friend, as historians would like us to say. But I do not have references to prove otherwise currently at the time, so I will go with friends. Patroclus' death was actually a result of Achilles' temper, when you think about it in hindsight. Um, Agamemnon took a girl as a concubine, enslaved her. That girl was the daughter of a priest of Apollo. This is important. The priest of Apollo then came to Agamemnon, pleading with him to let his daughter go. At first he said no, but when Apollo brought a plague upon the Grecian soldiers, quickly his thoughts changed and he let the girl go. Agamemnon, being out of a concubine, sought out and took Achilles' slave girl as his concubine. Achilles was enraged by this, and only by the intervention of Athene did he not cause havoc. But in his retaliation, Achilles decided to put his arms down and will not fight no matter what happened to the Greek soldiers. In this whole fiasco, his friend Patroclus, it implored him to go into battle in pretending to be Achilles, which unfortunately led to his death. Taking a short break to acknowledge the fact that all of my references will be in the description box down below. So if you would like to fact check me or you'd also like to go down this rabbit hole, you can see the links in the description. When it comes to Odysseus, he is different to most accounts and the way that I have perceived it. You may tell me if you perceive it differently. Um, Odysseus seems to choose peace and diplomacy above all else. Well, as diplomatic as you can get during a war and post war within the Greek mythology, like world. He seems to look out for his men. An example I can give is post war when his man landed on the island of the locust eaters. He did not leave his men behind who had fallen for the trap, which to me is quite honorable. Would I believe that Achilles would do that? No. No, I don't. I don't believe so. So that's one of the differences. Another difference is their temperaments, in the way that they deal with obstacles. When Achilles deals with an obstacle, he seems to choose violence to drive through the obstacle, whereas in um, Odysseus seems to be a strategist and would want to outsmart the enemy to like lead them into a trap instead. Taking a break from the long list of differences, let's go back into similarities for a little bit. The matters of the heart. And this will tie into the end when it comes to 21st century views. Both men do take up lovers. They are married. Achilles is married to, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting her name. But, oh, I guess I do have sources because the relationships that are mentioned that I can confirm is one with Diomedes. Diomedes, please. I apologize if I'm making you cringe with my pronunciation. And Patroclus. And then when it comes to Odysseus, he has a wife, Penelope, who, along the way to get back to his wife, he does end up having a relationship with Circe. There is mentions of another relationship with Calypso, but in my opinion, that relationship was non-consensual. So to me, it falls into a gray area of making me feel like, should we even count it when the person involved is not consenting? Okay? Another thing, if you want to drop it in the comments, please. Another very stark difference is in the deaths of the heroes. Achilles dies in battle when he is hit with an arrow shot by Paris into his Achilles heel, which was the only place that his mother didn't dunk in the river Styx. Whereas in Odysseus dies, death actually is not mentioned within the Iliad. My sources for this essay are the Iliad. And with that, you realize that their deaths represent the two different views of valiance within the ancient world. One of dying in battle as a hero, and the other of living as a hero and dying revered and loved by the people around you. Now let's take these stories and bring them into a modern context. Would these heroes be perceived as heroes within the 21st century? I don't believe so. If we were to take the attributes, actions, accolades, and behaviors, thoughts, minds, and ideologies of both these individuals and bring them into the 21st century, no changes, no substitutions, and maybe battles are different. Maybe the things that they fight are different. They would not be viewed as heroes because the 21st century morality is different. Under this scenario, um, society would not deem them as normal. Their behaviors would be disturbing. Partnered with the fact that modern society despises violence. Yes, we do have pockets of the internet that root for violence. It seems to be ingrained in the human nature for some people to enjoy chaos and destruction, but the mainstream doesn't really enjoy violence. Not saying that our troops are bad. Shout out to our troops. They do their best, but violence is not condoned within our society nowadays. Infidelity is also an issue that is not accepted in modern society. Odysseus would quickly lose public support, in my opinion, when he takes up Circe and stays with her. Achilles, Achilles, these things would be heavily frowned upon and bring into question the morality of their characters. Then there's the topic of religion. The most believed religion in the 21st century is Christianity, and most people believe in worshiping a single god, from exceptions of Hinduism and a few other religions within our world, because we are inclusive on this channel. Most religions believe in worshiping one god. When you tie in that believing in many gods is, I wouldn't say frowned upon, but considering again the statistics of the most subscribed to religion right now in our world is Christianity, it would not go well. Paganism, as now it would be called, from using sources from, I believe, the 15th century. Let me double check that. Yes, sorry, not 15th century, but from the Roman Empire, the word paganism was pagan or paganist was used to refer to people who didn't believe, from the 4th century actually, of early Christians. This is debatable as I'm pulling this from Wikipedia. You can debate that. But yes, it wouldn't really align with current modern day beliefs and um, expectations, religious wise. Also, the ownership of slaves would be normal, yes, in ancient Greece, but it is heavily frowned upon and should be heavily frowned upon in the 21st century. It should be, even in its current form. Which now begs the question, we still read Greek mythology in contemporary times, and we still label Odysseus and Achilles heroes. Why? I believe that, in conclusion to my entire argument, despite the many flaws and differences between the two heroes, they have a constant. They are persistent in what they want to achieve, and that is a good attribute to have. And though morality changes, and people change, societal expectations change. One thing stays constant. A hero is a person who is willing to lay down their life for a cause and believe firmly in it. Now, whether they do good or bad in achieving this cause, in achieving what they want, it remains to be determined by time. Because just like beauty, morality is subjective. It changes as the time changes, and maybe in 100 years more, they will be seen as heroes again, without any flaws. And that would be a video for me, Lumina Suncrest. Please like and subscribe. And if you've gotten this far, don't be shy. Leave a comment. What do you think? Do you view them as heroes? Or do you think that we should look to modern examples of heroism and leave the past in the past? That would be all from me. See you.